Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome all of you to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call's mid-morning session on Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. Today's class will be given by her Grace Sukha Sagari Mataji. Before moving on to the session, I would like to know who all have joined the call today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi, and thank you so much, Uma Mataji, for the beautiful recitation.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Darshini, please accept my humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. This is Devi Devi Dasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Uma Mataji, for the very beautiful recitation, and thank you, Darshini Mataji, for the very nice welcoming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Darshini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandarvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call every day and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Darshini Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to assembled devotees. This is Kiran Goyal from Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kiran Goyal Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call today and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Darshini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much, Mataji. This is Shushmita from Canada, and thank you, Uma Mataji, for reciting so beautifully, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Susmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call so regularly and giving your association to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Darshana Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai, and all the assembled devotees. This is Shivani from West Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your services. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association to us. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Darshini Mataji. Dandavat pranams to you, Dandavat pranams to all the devotees here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sumi from Jersey City.
Hare Krishna, Sumi Mataji, Dandavat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and with pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. I once again welcome all of you to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call's mid-morning session on Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. And today we are very, very fortunate to have Her Grace Sukha Sagari Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. Hare Krishna Mataji, and with pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. We are very grateful to you for presiding over the call and enlightening us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat. Mataji. Mataji, with your permission, can I just read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today?
Yes, please. Thank you so much for the warm intro.
Thank you, Mataji. 26th November. When we keep our association with Krishna, every activity is proper and liberating. But if we should disassociate ourselves from the Lord's mercy, then like a hand which is severed from the body, we become ugly and useless. Letter to Hrishikesha, November 26, 1968. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Mataji, we are very grateful to you and very fortunate to have you on the call and to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda, chapter 18, verses 120 to 130. I now hand over the call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I don't know if you're fortunate to have me or I'm fortunate to be in all your association. Just like the Prabhupada's quote that you read, when the hand is severed from the body, it loses all its beauty and function. So when I'm cut off from Bhakti Sangha, I lose all my spiritual credit. So it's all glories to all the organizers who keep dragging me back here, and somehow help me purify myself. So I'm grateful to all of you. And since this was kind of a short notice for me, at least, so please bear with me if I make any mistakes. All that is mine. If anything is of value or significance to you, all glories to Guru and Gauranga and all Vaishnavas. So we will start off with the verses. I'll quickly share my screen. Second, please. I hope you're able to see the verses for today.
Not yet, Mataji.
Sorry?
I cannot see anything, Mataji.
Oh, sure. Sorry about that. Now can you see?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So this is from the Caitanya Bhagavata, and we are on chapter 18 of the Madhya Khanda, Mahaprabhu's dancing as a gopi, as it is titled. Let me just read the verses for today. Hinay samay sarva prabhu vishwambhara प्रवेश करिला आद्या शक्ति वेशधारा हे नय समय सर्व प्रभु विश्वंभरा प्रवेश करिला आद्या शक्ति वेशधारा. Translation: At that time, Vishwambhara, the Lord of Lords, came on stage dressed as the Supreme Goddess. 121. आगे नित्यानंद बूढ़ी बाड़ाई रवेशे बंका बंका करी अंते प्रेम रस भासे. आगे नित्यानंद बूढ़ी बाड़ाई रवेशे बंका बंका करी अंते प्रेम रस भासे. Nityananda, in the dress of an elderly lady, floated in waves of ecstasy as he hobbled in a bent position on stage in front of the Lord. मंडली हाइया सब वैष्णव रहीला जय जय महाध्वनि करिते लागीला. मंडली हालिया सब वैष्णव रहीला जय जय महाध्वनि करिते लागीला. All the Vaishnavas loudly chanted together, Jaya, Jaya. Sorry? के हनरे चिनीते ठाकुर विश्वंभरा हे ना अलक्षिता वेश अति मनोहारा. के हनारे चिनीते ठाकुर विश्वंभरा हे ना अलक्षिता वेश अति मनोहारा. Lord Vishwambhara was disguised in such an enchanting dress that no one could recognize him. नित्यानंद महाप्रभु प्रभु रबडाई तांड्रा पाछे प्रभु आरा किछु चिन्हनाई. अतएव सबे सिनी लेना प्रभु ए वेशे कहे लाखी तेना पारे प्रभु से. Since the Lord walked behind Nityananda Prabhu, who was Lord's elderly lady companion, everyone could understand this is the Lord. Otherwise, no one could recognize him by his dress. सिंधु है ते प्रत्यक्ष का हाय की हाइला कमाला रघु सिंह गृहिणी की जानकी आईला सिंधु है ते प्रत्यक्ष का हाइला कमाला रघु सिंह गृहिणी की जानकी आईला. Has Kamala directly appeared from the ocean? Has Janaki, the wife of the lion of the Raghu dynasty, come? Kiba Lakshmi Kiba Aila Parvati Kiba Vrindavanera Sampati Murti Mati Kiba Mahalakshmi Kiba Aila Parvati Kiba Vrindavanera Sampati Murti Mati. Has Mahalakshmi or Parvati appeared? Has the treasure of Vrindavana personally come? Kiba Bhagirathi Kiba Rupavati Daya Kiba Sei Mahesha Mohini Mahamaya Kiba Bhagirathi Kiba Rupavati Daya Kiba Sei Mahesha Mohini Mahamaya. Is she Ganga? Is she compassion personified? Or is she Mahamaya, the enchanter of Lord Shiva? Eimate अन्योन्य सर्वजने जाने नाचिनीय प्रभुर आपने मोह माने हेमते अन्योन्य सर्वजने जाने नाचिनीय प्रभुरे आपने मोह माने. In this way, everyone was bewildered and unable to recognize the Lord. आजन्म धरिया प्रभु देखया हारा तथापि लखिते नारे तिला देखे तारा. आजन्म धरिया प्रभु देखया हारा तथापि लखिते नारे तिला देखा तारा. Even those who saw the Lord since his birth could not recognize him at all. So we see this is a drama or a play like where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his close associates are, playing different parts. And we've been seeing this series for quite some time now. And before we delve into the topic for today, let's recite the invocation prayers. I'll quickly share my screen again. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So far we've been seeing in this chapter that in part 1 or act 1 of this play, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually dons the role of Rukmini, Mother Rukmini, and reads from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and everybody is moved to tears and ecstasy. Now in this, so 3 hours of this kind of a play have passed. And now we are on to Act 2, where, in the previous verses, we saw how Gadadhara, he came as Rama, and he was dancing very beautifully like that. And everybody was thrilled to see that. And now we see Lord Vishwambhara, or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he enters the stage, and he is dressed as the Supreme Goddess. And who is the Supreme Goddess? Anybody would like to share? Srimati Radharani. And we see that Nityananda Prabhu is actually in the form of an old lady, and some sources quote that as Purnamasi, who has come in the guise of Purnamasi there. So we see that several devotees, we've seen earlier that Shachi Mata and so many other Matajis are there who are watching this enactment of the play. And they're close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are playing different roles in the play, and they are all in moods of ecstasy. And we see that they're not able to recognize that if this is the Lord, like the verses say that though they have seen the Lord from the birth, they still cannot recognize when the Lord comes beautifully dressed as Srimati Radharani there, so beautifully disguised like that. So everybody, according to their own imagination, is trying to, understand who is this personality. Is it Lakshmi Devi? Is it Rama Devi? Is it Parvati? Is it like, Mahamaya, like that? So everybody is understanding or seeing the Lord according to their own understanding. So we'll see, on this topic of seeing the Lord, I thought we can discuss a few things. So these are the different, the different parts of this class today, which I thought may be worthwhile to discuss. So one is, can everybody see the Lord? And do we need some kind of a divine vision, or what is actually needed? And then what are the qualifications one needs to see the Lord? And then towards the end, Srila Prabhupada says that everybody can see the Lord. So this is something I borrowed from Srila Prabhupada's class. And then the last part is how Krishna reciprocates according to our own desires. So how we see the Lord is, also based on how we actually are desiring to see the Lord, like that. So moving on, like, can everybody see the Lord? So we have several scriptural references, which say, like, for example, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, Yogamaya Samavrata, Mudhoyam Nabhijanati Lokomam, Ajam Aveyam. He says, I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I'm covered by my internal potency. Therefore, they do not know that I'm unborn and infallible. So Prabhupada says in the purport to this verse from Bhagavad Gita that it may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, Shishupala spoke against Krishna. Krishna's being elected president of the assembly. Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the Supreme God. So similarly, the Pandavas and the few others knew that he was supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. So here in this verse, we see that Krishna says that I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. And as we all know, in this Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Mateo, Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrita, we are, blessed with that kind of foolishness, Sumanda, utmost foolishness. So how can, is there any chance for us to even see the Lord? Many times we have people approaching devotees and ask this question, right? You are talking so much about Lord and you're talking about Krishna and take to Krishna consciousness. So have you seen the Lord anytime? Have you, so how can you be so sure that the Lord exists? And we see so many questions like that being asked to people. To devotees, especially when we go preaching. But then Krishna also says here that, I'm never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. So how can we, try to reply them that, are we even qualified to see the Lord, or can we really see the Lord like that? Also in praise, of Queen Kunti, she very beautifully describes Maya Javanika Channam Ajnadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshya Se Mudhadrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. She says, being beyond the range of limited sense perception, You are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not easily recognized. So we see, is not recognized. So we see here again, Queen Kunti also is reiterating the same fact that you are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So what are our chances? How do we get darshan of the Lord? How can we, is it even possible, or is it just a myth, that we can see the Lord? So how are we to understand? So here again in this verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada very beautifully describes that the less intelligent persons are those who rebel against the authority of the Lord. Such persons are known as asuras. The asuras cannot recognize the Lord's authority. When the Lord himself appears amongst us as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, or in his original form as Krishna, he performs many wonderful acts which are humanly impossible. As we shall find in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Sri Krishna exhibited his humanly impossible activities from the days of his lying on the lap of his mother. He killed Putana, which, although she smeared his breast with poison just to kill the Lord. So we see that the Lord, he does so many wonderful activities, but still we're not, at least the people there were not able to recognize him as the Supreme Lord, except for a few of them like that. He has delivered wonderful instructions in the shape of the Bhagavad Gita. He has shown marvelous capacities as a hero, as a householder, as a teacher, and a renouncer. He is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by authoritative personalities as Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Narada, Madhva, Shankara, and so on. So, so we may have to resort to these authorities, who can actually show us the Supreme Lord. So it's not possible by our own mundane, eyes or material eyes or our poor fund of material knowledge that we have to actually see the Lord. So some kind of qualification is definitely required, right, to see the Lord. It's not possible to just, for an ordinary person to understand or see the Lord. Even if we see, or take darshan of the deity form of the Lord who has mercifully come to us in the Archa Vigraha form, even if we see, we may not be able to relate, or, we may not be able to know what to do unless we learn or have some knowledge of how we need to understand the Lord through scriptures, through our acharyas, and, through devotees like that, and through service. So what is this vision of the Lord? So we have seen that in some instances, the Lord has shown his Vishwarupa form to many devotees like that. So this is a special vision which is actually, shown to the devotees of the Lord. And let me quickly try to grab that. Yeah. So when Krishna, when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that, I sustain the whole universe, with a fragment of myself. So that time Arjuna has this question, he has this doubt as to how does he actually do that? And that's when he asks, to Krishna to show his universal form. So at that time, Arjuna, though Arjuna is a great pure devotee of the Lord in the mood of, friendship to the Lord, he's actually doing it for our purpose. So he wants this kind of a visual confirmation that, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And so he asked Krishna to show him the universal form of the Lord. So this is not just for Arjuna's benefit, but it's also for, our own benefit. So the universal form of the Lord is one revelation, which Lord Krishna makes to Arjuna. So this is a special vision which was granted to Arjuna. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, in an article, he actually discusses how, like there are at least 5 times where Krishna has, where Krishna has revealed his Vishwarupa form. Does anybody want to make a guess as to what these 5 times of revelation are? Anybody would like to? Okay, let me just go ahead, because everybody is in strong meditation. So, so the 5 revelations which Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, in an article, he shares is that twice it happens, where when Krishna shows his universal form, or his, like the whole form to his mother, twice. So once is when he yawns once. So Mother Yashoda, she sees the whole universal form inside of Krishna's mouth. And the other one, I'm sure we all are aware, when Krishna is eating dirt, at that time, Mother Yashoda actually gets a vision of the whole universe and she faints like that. And then the third time mentioned is when, Krishna goes to make peace with Duryodhana before the battle of Kurukshetra. And he tries to explain to him that, give those 5 pieces of land to them and let them be, and, let the war not take place. But Duryodhana threatens him and says that, I'm going to kill you, and, I'm going to arrest you and kill you, like that. So at that time, Krishna actually shows his form, like his scary form to Duryodhana, like that. And then the other instance is when, so at that time, Dhritarashtra also prays to Krishna to see that form, and momentarily Krishna actually gives Dhritarashtra also the vision. He's like blind, right? He's spiritually and physically blind in one sense. So Krishna gives him the vision to actually see that form of Krishna. And then also during the battle of, just before the battle of Kurukshetra, we see that Arjuna is actually able to see this form of the Lord. So Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, in his lecture, he actually says that there are 3 different ways that one can see the form of the Lord. And one is, where the Lord gives the devotee a special vision to see the Lord. And then the other one is where the Lord empowers the devotee, or gives him like so to speak, like a new set of eyes to see the Lord. And the third is when the Lord empowers the devotee and also blocks away the vision, So in the third case, like we see where Arjuna is getting a vision of the universal form of the Lord, everything around him, is blanked out in one sense, and he's able to actually see the universal form of the Lord in all its glory. But it's very scary in that sense, like that, right? So Arjuna again asks Krishna to show his original form back, like that. So we see that there are different forms, like special vision is given by the Lord to actually see the Lord himself. But then there's also other ways, right? We say that the Lord can be seen. And devotees, as we know, this is through Shastra Chakshusha, or through the eyes of scriptures. So many times we ask, right, can I see the Lord? Can I see the Lord, like that? But let me grab that. Yeah, can I see the Lord? But then do we really have the vision to see the Lord? I mean, do we really, even if the Lord comes in front of us, do you think that, can we even see the Lord? So this is another, some excerpts I grabbed from another article from Back to Godhead. Many a times we come across people who challenge us by asking, if God exists, then why can't we see him? But there are so many things in this world which we can't see, but we believe in its existence. We don't see air, but it exists. There are so many living entities which can't be seen by our eyes, but they exist. And what about our emotions, the feeling of love and compassion? Can it be seen? No, it can only be experienced. So seeing is not the only criteria which proves the existence of something. Does it imply that God is beyond our reach, or is he infinitesimally small, or is he formless so we can't see him? Definitely not. God has a beautiful form which is supremely pure and is not material but spiritual. If God wants us to see him, we can see him. But if our heart is full of impurities, then even if God is in front of us, we would not recognize him and we will consider him an ordinary person. Duryodhana saw Krishna face to face because of his arrogance and false pride. He thought of imprisoning and harming Krishna. Shishupala was Krishna's cousin, but instead of rejoicing at his great fortune, he would always try to insult him. So instead of asking, why can't we see God? We should endeavor our heart to cleanse our hearts of all the impurities which is coming between us and the Supreme Lord. So this is what, so we need to purify ourselves. We need to make ourselves qualified to actually see the Supreme Lord. So it's not through our mundane vision. And, sometimes great devotees, like we saw, the close associates of the Lord have this fortune of getting the special vision, from the Lord. And of course, many devotees also have shared, right? I mean, they share that, exalted devotees share that how Krishna comes to them in a dream and reveals himself, reveals his heart, and reveals what they want them to do, like that. So maybe very advanced devotees have that fortune, who can actually, get the vision of the Lord in their dreams, or, through some a special vision, like in the case of Arjuna, like that. But for other practicing devotees who may not be at that level, so is there a chance? Yes. So this can happen by getting the right qualifications to see the Lord. So what are these qualifications? How can we become qualified to actually see the Lord? So this is very beautifully explained by Srila Prabhupada in one of his classes, which we will try to understand now, how we can try to actually get a glimpse of the Supreme Lord himself. So how to become qualified to see the Supreme Lord? The first method Srila Prabhupada discusses in his class is purification. He says, Supreme Lord is not visible to the ordinary persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. So they cannot see Krishna or God either within or outside, but the same eyes can be purified. You may not be able to see because you have a cataract. So when we have a cataract, the vision is temporarily, you're blinded in some senses. But if the cataract is operated on and removed, then your vision is revived. So you can see. Ordinarily, you cannot see God either inside or outside. We say that God is within and God is outside. But why can't we see him? We also saw, right, in Queen Kunti's prayers, what prompted Queen Kunti to actually offer those prayers? We see that, when Krishna actually saved the womb of Mother Uttara, and Queen Kunti very well knew that Krishna was there, right, standing right in front of them all. But at the same time, his four-handed form, in the size of a thumb, went and protected Uttara's womb, like that Parikshit Maharaj there. So she knew that, Antar Bahir Avasitam. She knew that the Lord is outside there, right there in front of us. But then he also entered, and, so in a very, very humble mood of a woman, she says, Katham Pashyami Striya. So how can a woman like me try to know you, like you are only visible, you're only understandable to the Paramhamsas, Munis, like that. She says that you're only these kind of people can understand how to offer devotional service to you and understand your position and see you. How can an ordinary woman like myself actually see you? But actually she saw that the Lord had manifested in two places at the same time and saved her grandchild. She knew it very well. She's a pure devotee of the Lord, and she knows that. But still, posing as a very, in the position of a woman who is not very well read in scripture, she just posing like that and asking this. So, like we saw earlier too, these great personalities ask these kind of questions for the benefit of practicing sadhakas like ourselves, so that we can understand and we can also try to get the same understanding through the eyes of, such great exalted devotees like that. So here Srila Prabhupada also says the same, that he is there within and outside, inside and outside. But because we're not devotees, we cannot see. Krishna is present everywhere, but he says, how will you be able to see the Lord? He says the first qualification is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaramachintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So it says here, I'll just read a part of the translation. Prema means love, and Anjana means ointment. With the ointment of love is smeared over the eyes, then those who are devotees, santaha, saintly persons, can always see Krishna within the heart. So this is one qualification, when we are purified and we have this ointment of love for Krishna, when we have the true love for Krishna, the prema for Krishna, then we can always see Krishna within the heart. Next, Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, one who is a lover of God can see Krishna in everything. He gives the example here, a very nice examples Prabhupada says. A devotee sees a flower as produced by Krishna's energy. He sees the beauty of the flower, appreciating Krishna's artistic sense. When he hears the sweet voice of a bird, he immediately understands Krishna is speaking so nicely through this bird. This is called Krishna consciousness. Everywhere he sees Krishna, antar bahihi, within and without. The gopis, the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, learned how to love Krishna. That's all. They never underwent any severe austerities like the yogis who go to the Himalayas and press their noses and undertake their other practices. No, the gopis never did such things. Their only business was to love Krishna automatically. Of course, that stage is not easily obtained, but the Shastras state that if you come to that stage, simply loving Krishna, then you are on the highest platform of bliss. He also, Prabhupada goes on to say that he gives another very simple and beautiful example. We saw that how Queen Kunti says that, that you're not visible to the mudha drisha, na lakshya se mudha drisha, to the foolish or the innocent like that. So here Prabhupada says mudha means the ass or donkey, and mudha drisha means those who are seeing like an ignorant person or an ass. What is the example? A theatrical actor is playing on the stage, and a child, seeing somebody acting, has forgotten that his father is playing on the stage. His father is acting because the father has dressed in a different way and is displaying a different posture, playing on the stage. Although the child is sitting amongst the audience, he cannot understand. He is my father playing because he hasn't got the understanding. One who is older or advanced in knowledge can see, or the mother, she can say, oh, don't you see that? That's your father who is playing there. So although both the child and the mother are there, one cannot see and the other can see. So the child is not able to see that it's his own dad who is, in the role playing a different role disguised like that. But the mother can easily see, oh, that is my husband who is playing this role here. I can easily see. So one who is in knowledge can see. So this is where Srila Prabhupada gives the third qualification. He says, one who has knowledge can see the Lord. And he says the point is that Paramahamsa, who has no dirty things in the heart, like the Paramahamsas are, great personalities who are neither after bhukti, mukti, or siddhi, though they are not into karma yoga. They are not into, any kind of Ashtanga yoga like that, or they are not into Jnana yoga like that. So Prabhupada says, these are all dirty things. He says, removal of the dirty things will help you see God. So how do we acquire this knowledge? How do we become a Paramahamsa? And how can we remove these dirty things, as Prabhupada calls it? What qualification have you acquired by which you can see God? Here's the qualification. Tatchadhradana Munaya. One must first of all be faithful, Shraddhadhana. One must actually be very eager to see God. Not that one takes it as a frivolous thing. Can you show me God? Or as a magic? They think God is magic. No. One must be very serious and think, yes, I have been informed about God. So if there is God, there is a God, I must see him. So Prabhupada gives a very nice instructive story also in this connection. So, these kind of analogies and stories and examples which Prabhupada gives helps us to better understand where he's coming from. One professional reciter was publicly reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was describing that Krishna is very highly decorated with all kinds of jewels when he goes to tend the cows in the forest. So there was a thief in that meeting, and he thought, why not go to Vrindavan and plunder this boy? He is in the forest with so many valuable jewels. I can go there and catch the child and take all the jewels. This was his intention. So he was serious. I must find that boy, he thought. Then in one night, I shall become a millionaire. The thief's qualification was his feeling, Prabhupada says. I must see Krishna. I must see Krishna. That anxiety, that eagerness made it possible for him to actually see Krishna in Vrindavan. He saw Krishna in just the same way as the Bhagavatam reader has described. Then the thief said, "Oh, you're such a nice boy, Krishna." He began to flatter him. He thought that by flattering him, he would easily take away all the jewels. Then he proposed his real business. "May I take some of these ornaments? You are so rich." "No, no, no," said Krishna. "My mother will be angry. I cannot give them away." Krishna was playing just like a child. So the thief became more and more eager for Krishna to give him the jewels. But by Krishna's association, he was becoming purified. Then at last, Krishna said, "All right, you can take them." Then the thief became a devotee immediately because by Krishna's association, he had been completely purified. So somehow or other, you should come in contact with Krishna. Then you will be purified. The gopis are another example of great eagerness to see Krishna. The gopis came to Krishna being captivated by his beautiful features. They were young girls, and Krishna was so beautiful. Actually, they were lusty when they came to Krishna, but Krishna is so pure that they became first-class devotees. There is no comparison to gopis' devotion because they loved Krishna with heart and soul. That is the qualification. They loved Krishna so much that they didn't care for family or reputation when they went out in the dead of the night. Krishna's flute was sounding, and they were all fleeing their homes. Their fathers, their brothers, their husbands all said, "Where are you going? Where are you going in this dead of night?" But the gopis didn't care. They neglected their children, their family, everything. Their only thought was, we must go to Krishna. So Prabhupada says, this kind of eagerness is required. We must be very, very eager to see Krishna. Many gopis who were forcibly stopped from going to Krishna lost their lives because of their great feelings of separation. We have also heard that story, right? From Vishnu Purana, Chintayami, her name was like she, her mother-in-law stopped her from going to see Krishna. So she just, turned into, like she froze at the doorstep, and because she couldn't go and see Krishna like that. So, yeah, where was I? Yeah, many gopis who were forcibly stopped from going to Krishna lost their lives because of the great feelings of separation. So this eagerness is wanted. Then you can see God. Whether you are a lusty or a thief or a murderer or whatever it may be, somehow or other, you must develop this eagerness, this desire. I must see Krishna, then Krishna will be seen. The first thing Krishna is looking for is how eager you are to see him. Krishna will respond. If you're actually eager to see Krishna, then you somehow or other you have become attracted to Krishna, then it is sure your efforts will be successful. So Prabhupada also gives another example here in this, where one gopi is advising another gopi, my dear friend. He quotes a verse, I'm skipping over the Sanskrit verse. One gopi is advising another gopi, my dear friend, there is one boy, his name is Govinda. He's standing on the bank of Yamuna near the Keshi Ghata, and he is playing on his flute. He's so beautiful, especially during this full moon night. If you have any intentions to enjoy in this material world with your children, husband, or other family members, then please do not go there, the gopi tells. So Bhangatrai Krishna always stands in a three-curve way with his flute. That is Krishna's Tribhanga form, bending in three places. So the one gopi says to the other, if you think that you'll enjoy life more in this material world, do not go to see Krishna, do not go there. The idea is that if you once see Krishna, then you'll forget all the nonsensical material enjoyment. That is seeing Krishna. Prabhupada goes on to give the example of Dhruva Maharaj, where Dhruva Maharaj, he went to see Krishna, as we all know, to actually acquire a kingdom, that is greater or bigger than even his father's. But when he saw Krishna, he said, whatever benediction you want, and Krishna told him, ask for any benediction. He said, Dhruva Maharaj said, my dear Lord, I have no desire, no longer any desire for anything. So as soon as he saw Krishna, when he got the glimpse of Krishna, his heart completely changed. So Prabhupada says that eagerness, that laulyam, that eagerness to see Krishna, to associate, to get the Lord's association, that is the only thing, that is the only qualification one needs. And Prabhupada goes on to describe so beautifully other things about how, somebody, like, let me read this part. Someone may say, oh, eagerness, I have eagerness, but it is not so easy. Janma koti sukrite na labhyate. This eagerness cannot be achieved even by executing pious activities for millions of births. If you simply go on performing pious activities, still this eagerness is not available. So this eagerness is a very important thing, but it can be awakened only by the association of devotees. So here Prabhupada gives the practical approach of how we can get this eagerness. He said that it is not just saying that, oh, I want to see Krishna, I want to see Krishna daily. By saying this, and showing some eagerness, can you actually see Krishna? No, you cannot, he says. He says this eagerness can be only achieved by associating, can be awakened, the actual eagerness. We may think that, oh, I'm eager to see the Lord, I really want to be, with Krishna. Sometimes in our own emotions, in our own, whatever, say we are going through some problems or some situations, and we're like, oh, let me go see the Lord, and take me, Lord, and we have all this kind of desires. So, but that doesn't cut it like that. That's not like the real eagerness that Prabhupada is talking about here. So Prabhupada says that it can be awakened only by the association of devotees. And Prabhupada says, therefore, we are giving everyone a chance to invoke that eagerness. Then you will see God face to face. This life is meant for seeing Krishna. It is not meant for becoming dogs and hogs. Unfortunately, the whole modern civilization is training people to become dogs and hogs. It is only through this, it is only this institution, this Krishna consciousness movement, that is teaching people how to see Krishna. That is so important. So we see that how Prabhupada discusses different qualifications, purification of our senses, the eagerness to see Krishna, trying to get Shastric understanding, trying to get association of devotees. So Prabhupada has given us this whole process by which we can see Krishna. And then at one point in another lecture, Prabhupada says, everybody can see God. So we are getting some confidence now, though, born as Manda, Sumanda, Matayo in this Kali Yuga, Prabhupada is guiding us how we can actually see God. How, and he says in one of his lectures that everyone can actually see God. He says, let me, this is actually an interview between Prabhupada and, a person, another person who is asking the questions. So let's just quickly, it's a very beautiful conversation. So I will just quickly read a few excerpts of it. So he says, the interviewer asks, so some things, they've had some conversation so far, and Prabhupada describes bhakti yoga and things like that to the interviewer. And then the interviewer asks, if you are to think about something, you first have to see it. Do you show your devotees Krishna? Srila Prabhupada says, oh yes, certainly. Interviewer then asks, then what? Well, what is Krishna? What does he look like? Srila Prabhupada says, here is a Krishna, and he shows, see, here is Krishna, and he shows a painting to the interviewer. The interviewer says, but that's a painting. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, it's a painting. But suppose a painting of you were there, could I not say, here is Mr. Such and Such? The interviewer says, yes. Srila Prabhupada, then what is wrong there? Is your picture not yourself? Interviewer says, yes, it is. Srila Prabhupada says, similarly, this is Krishna's painting. But the difference is that we cannot talk with your picture, but we can talk with Krishna's picture. That is the difference. But still the interviewer persists and he says, but still, somebody must have seen Krishna to actually paint him. Srila Prabhupada says, yes, when Krishna was present on this earth, so many people saw him. And since then, there have been so many temples of Krishna's deity, Krishna's form. The same form described in the Vedic literature appeared personally, and the devotees made statues. These forms of Krishna are being worshipped regularly. There are thousands and thousands of Krishna temples. The interviewer says, but has anybody actually seen Krishna? Prabhupada gives a very clever answer. Yes, yes, just as your father has seen your grandfather. You may not have seen him, but your father can describe him. My father was like this. So what's the difficulty? Then the devotee says, there's another devotee, he says, he's asking if anyone now has actually seen Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says, how can one see him now? One has to see him through parampara, the disciplic succession. You've not seen your grandfather, so how do you know who he was? The interviewer says, your parents tell you. Yes. So you have to receive knowledge about God from the authorities, from the parampara. The interviewer says, but supposedly Krishna is eternal, so he exists today too. Srila Prabhupada replies, yes, Krishna is existing. At night, the sun is existing, but you have no eyes to see it. That does not mean the sun does not exist. It is your deficiency you cannot see. So the interviewer asks, so do we need divine sight? Prabhupada gives the beautiful answer, like we saw so far. He says, you require qualification. Krishna is always existing, but you require the qualification to see him. That is described in the Vedic scriptures. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Hridesho Vilokayanti. Those who are saintly persons in ecstatic love with Krishna can see him always, 24 hours a day. Prabhupada gives his guarantee. That is not very difficult to understand. If you love someone, you see him always. Is it not so? You need the qualification of love. Then Krishna will be visible 24 hours a day and talk to you. So you have to qualify yourself to hear Krishna, to see Krishna. But Krishna is always present. So Prabhupada so emphatically, so authoritatively, and so convincingly gives a reply to this interviewer who is actually asking, do you show Krishna or God to your disciples, to the devotees who have taken to Krishna consciousness? So beautifully, Srila Prabhupada gives him different explanations and arguments for the interviewer to understand. And so here Prabhupada is assuring us that if we develop the true love of Godhead, and then we can surely see Krishna 24 hours a day. So he says, just as when we are in love with somebody, like we keep thinking of them, right? And we are always lost in the thoughts like that. So he says that it's not so difficult to understand, right? When you love somebody, you're always thinking of them, and you want to make something for them, you want to do something for them. So even though physically you may be present somewhere and doing, but your mind is somewhere else. So similarly, if you develop that kind of love for Krishna, you will certainly be with Krishna 24/7 like that. So Krishna, we come to the last part of the class. So we see that how by developing this love for Krishna, and Prabhupada has given the process to us, so many different ways and methods of how we can get this relationship or maintain this relationship with Krishna. And Krishna reciprocates, right, with each of us in our own ways. So we know the 5 rasas, the rasas, like in neutrality, in friendship, in parental love, in in the form of a lover, like that. So many rasas are there in which Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. So all we need to do is develop this love for Krishna through devotional service, and follow Srila Prabhupada's teaching, and how Prabhupada has given us this detailed process of sadhana bhakti, and how our acharyas, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and other acharyas have written several books and guidelines and guidebooks for us to follow, like that. So by following in the footsteps of the acharyas through our own guru vargas, trying to understand this whole science of Krishna consciousness and this whole process of devotional service, then we can actually be able to see the Lord. So I would like to stop there. And once again, please forgive me if I made any mistakes in my presentation today. And please feel free to add your realizations and your comments. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sukha Sagari Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful, beautiful class and so many stories. I really like the story of that thief who went to Vrindavan to search of the Lord, and he was just searching means with the determination. I want to see the Lord. I want to see the Lord, and he was able to see the Lord. And I like the interviewer and Prabhupada's interview, and how the answers Prabhupada gave to him, like, this picture is yours, right? So that is Krishna's picture. So the only the difference is we can talk to Krishna's picture, but we can't talk to your picture. And that's a very, very nice answer that Srila Prabhupada was giving. Thank you so much, Mataji, for bringing up so many different analysis about how to see the God and how devotees were able to see the God with the blessings of Lord himself and devotees' blessings. Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we open the forum for question and answers. If anybody have any questions or realizations, please go ahead. Yes. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Okay, so Caitanya Mataji, I really like your class, how you explained everything really nicely. And I like how you explain all the things really nicely.
Okay.
Well, thanks,
Yes.
Balavrinda. It's great to have your association always. So thank you so much. You are a Pandita who has, knows all the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So yeah, looking to learn a lot from you.
Thank you, Mataji. She know all the Bhagavad Gita slokas with the blessings of all the devotees and association of devotees, Mataji. Thank you so much. We have Preeti Vilasni Mataji raised hand. Preeti Mataji, please go ahead with your question or realizations.
Hare Krishna, Sukha Sagari Mataji. What a beautiful class. Very nice. Prabhupada-centric class it was. It was so nice. So Shastric, and so many stories and you were talking about Srila Prabhupada giving stories and analogies, and you were quoting all of that so nicely to help us understand how we should see Krishna with love. So nice, very inspiring, Mataji, very, very inspiring and hope-giving as well. It was a very happy class. Thank you so much. Of course, I missed the first few minutes because I couldn't join at that time. I was on a call. But once I joined, it was such a beautiful class, such a beautiful class. Thank you.
Thank you, Preeti, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Mataji, there is, I think she's Kalpataru, Mataji. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's my god sister. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I was listening, and you captivated all of us with your beautiful stories. And actually, of course, actually, I was able to visualize Krishna through your stories. That when you were narrating that thief, how he sees, the way you explained it looked like, I was there. And so thank you very much. And like the other Mataji said, I liked how you, kept it Srila Prabhupada centered. And, that's so beautiful. We need to hear more and more from you in future. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Kalpataru Mataji is a very senior devotee, and she serves Guru Maharaja so beautifully. Guru Maharaj loves her cooking, and absolutely, he says it's nectar, and she's does so many services in the temple. I'm very fortunate that she's on the call today and blessing me. It's her blessings that maybe I spoke a few words. And also I see another of my god sister, a very senior devotee, Barsana Rani Mataji. She also does so many services at the temple, and they are all here kindly blessing me and encouraging me. So I'm very grateful to all the devotees, and to both of them also who have logged in today and blessed me today. So thank you so much, dear Mataji.
Thank you, Kalpataru Mataji, for coming on the call. Please give us your association. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you can ask for a lot of cooking tips from her. Like, she's a great cook. So. Yeah, of course, even like Shastrik and other things too. Like, she gives a lot of classes also in the temple and a lot of services. Anything you can approach her.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Any more questions? Any realizations? Yes, Mataji, I like the last word that you said, that everybody can see Krishna. That was the hope giving. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was Srila Prabhupada's words. So with Srila Prabhupada's blessings, we can all see Krishna. Anybody else? Any realizations? Any questions? Okay. If there are no more realizations or questions, we can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Mataji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai, Jai Mata ki jai.
HG Sukha Sagari Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danu Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.